Please join me. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Welcome to Sunday service at the Unity Center for Positive Living. Let's start our time together today with a reading from the Daily Word. Sunday, February 19th. Aspire. I hold a vision of an equitable world, a global community that supports and encourages all people to live fully and reach their unique potential. I feel a kinship with those who hold a similar vision and work to realize it. My past experiences and present perspective show me what is mine to do and how I can contribute to realizing my vision. I trust I will be guided and inspired to find avenues of service where the things I do best and most enjoy doing will be most helpful. I bless people I may never meet, and I offer my time, talents, and effort to further my vision of a new way of living. With clarity of purpose, I take my place among a growing network of caring, visionary souls. The scripture today from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11 and 12. The gifts we gave were to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for building up the body of Christ. Ooh. Our chaplain will lead us in an opening prayer.
Oh, good morning. It's so nice to see all of you here today and to be with you in the sacred time. So we have the little affirmation for today, so I'd like to say that with you. I aspire to help create a world that works for all in our program. I aspire to help create a world that works for all. Okay, let's go within now and begin our day in joy of our sacred time together. And let us center ourselves in our space that we hold right now. And let the outside world drop away for this short time so that we may focus on the lesson we hear today and the community that we share with each other. I'm so very grateful for this time and for this sharing. So I release this prayer now, knowing that it is so, and so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Candy. We're going to sing together now from our Melodies from the Heart songbook, song number 13. If you'd like to stand, please do so, and we'll sing together.
There is only
sounded beautiful from up here. Well, I would like to introduce you to the people who are most visibly serving you today. You were greeted by our ushers, Chris and Treese. Patty and Lonnie are hosting our social hour today. You are able to see us and hear us at home and hear us in the sanctuary today, thanks to Josh and Walter, our AV team. You met our chaplain, Candy, a moment ago. Terry and Savannah are providing music for us. My name is Cindy, and Reverend James Tierney is back with us this morning. Welcome, James. Thanks for coming back. He'll be providing meditation and lesson here in a moment. I'd like to remind you, if you brought your cell phone in with you this morning, please turn that off so we can have a nice quiet meditation. And if you would like a packet of information describing Everett Unity, you are welcome to ask our ushers on your way out. They'd be happy to send you home with some information. So I have several announcements to make today, so bear with me. I'd like to start by calling your attention to the bulletin that you received when you came in this morning. This includes information about what's happening at Everett Unity throughout the month. I want to remind you this coming Tuesday, I'm going to get over that Monday. Coming Tuesday, Happy Hearts is meeting at 7 p.m. in the social hall. You're welcome to join them. That's a fellowship group of like-minded people who want to dig a little bit deeper into some of the spiritual teachings that they have learned, and they take turns and have an opportunity for personal sharing and prayer time and meditation. So I would really encourage you, if you'd like a little boost a couple times a month, to join them on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Our Course in Miracles group is going strong again. We're back in the social hall on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. That Wednesday morning group is a hybrid group. They meet in person and online. And then Wednesday night at 6:30, you can go online, Zoom only. The links for that are on the website, everettunity.org. So that is what's coming up. We are going to be having our last mindfulness meditation class this coming Thursday, the 23rd. That starts at 7 o'clock. It's an hour long. It has been amazing. Those of us who have been there have loved it. And I find it interesting. It's one of those classes that are kind of standalone. You don't have to have come every single week to benefit. And so we started with like 7 people, and this last Thursday we had 10. So I'm hoping we can beat that record this coming Thursday. And then the great news is we are going to be offering that class on a regular basis. It's going to become one of our weekly classes. It's going to be a daytime class. Per popular request, we're going to be adding some daytime and evening classes. So we're going to start with a daytime mindfulness meditation class. We don't quite have that schedule set yet, but stay tuned. We'll let you know when that's going to be. Then I have a couple of other announcements, just general housekeeping stuff. We're getting back in the sanctuary. More of you are coming. I feel like I need to remind you about a couple of things. In the back, right by the front door there, we have a couple of an information table that has a couple things on it I think you'd like to know about. There's a prayer box there. There's one there by that door, and downstairs by the social hall door is a prayer box. There's little pieces of paper there. You're welcome to fill out a little prayer request, pop that in the box. Our prayer chaplains pray over all those prayer requests as they come in. So please feel free to take advantage of that. The foundation of unity is that prayer and prayer support. So please take advantage of that. There's also a suggestion box in both of those places. If you have a suggestion for me or for one of our other staff people or for the board of directors, please feel free to drop suggestions in that suggestion box. And we read those every month at the board meeting. We take action on them. We respond if you leave your name and phone number. So just let us know what you're thinking about, things that are happening or things that you'd like to have happen around here. And then a reminder about parking. Shoot, we do not have parking for our building. Dang it. Lovely building, no parking lot. We have only on-street parking. And I know if you've been around here for a while, you realize this parking in the alley behind me or anything north of here does not belong to us. And if you park there, you could end up coming out from church and having your car towed. So please don't park in those spots. It's on-street parking only. And then just a quick review. I'm not sure if all of you get the weekly email I send out to you, but I wanted to update you a little bit on the annual membership meeting that we had last week. Thank you to those of you that came and provided some input. The major takeaway I want you to be aware of is that the board is in negotiations right now with a local minister who is going to provide some support for us for the discernment process on how we move forward, to look at things like developing our mission statement and really getting the feedback from the community on how we move forward to have a more vibrant, alive, involved community. I know she has already submitted the proposal to the board. The board is reviewing that. They expect to act very quickly, and it looks like we are looking at a March through June kind of a process, combination of different nights of the week that we will be available with a structure of how to move forward. And we really felt it was important to get a spiritual leader, a person who is involved, has run a church, who knows how that works. So I think it's going to be a fun, informative, fascinating process, and I hope all of you will choose to join us and help direct the future of where Everett Unity goes. So thanks again. What's that they say on the game show? Thanks for playing along. Thanks for playing along. So let's sing together. Excuse me. Oh, yes. Thank you, Chris. Chris, it has tickets again for the Flapjack Breakfast out at Applebee's on Saturday, March 4th from 9 to 11 a.m. Tickets are $10 a piece, and you get a lovely little breakfast, and you get to hang out with us and the board and some of the staff. I'm only going to speak for myself. I'm like the only staff person that is going to serve you, but I'm going to pour coffee for you. Oh boy, that'll be fun. And, it's a great fundraiser.
The only place they have a restaurant that I've gone to since the pandemic, started subsiding, is that they haven't raised their prices. It's still $10. $5 goes to the church, $5 goes to Applebee's.
And I'm really excited. We've already sold 30 tickets. So it's going to 32. So it's going to be really fun. So Chris in the back, 34. Oh my gosh, it's like bidding. Do I hear 36? That's great. That's great. So after service, my friends, come and see Chris. We could take up the whole hour with that, but we'd love to have you join us. We did this a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic, and it was really fun. So, okay, so now we're ready to sing together again. Savannah's going to lead us in the same songbook, song number 25. Stand if you'd like to sing together with us.
Center of creation.
right, let's set our songbooks aside and settle in and get ready for meditation.
So let's start by touching our hearts, just to bring awareness to the heart, and inhaling into the heart and exhaling from the heart. And then for a moment, let's move our awareness to our feet. And let's imagine that our feet are rooted deeply into the earth. We are connected to the earth. We can feel our roots growing deeply into the earth, and we notice there are sideways connections to each other and to all living things. As we relax in our chairs, with our hands on our hearts, we are deeply connected to the earth. And now let's move our attention to those hands. What do your hands feel like? Is there pressure? Are they warm? A little cool? Is there a breeze? Is there tingling? And moving our attention back to our hearts. We want to picture in our heart. We want to have the feeling of appreciation, of gratitude. And to get that, we can picture someone or something or some event that brings us, that we're grateful for. Could be a pet. Could be a wonderful relative, like a grandchild or a dear friend. It could be a beautiful community setting like this, where we are surrounded by our beloved community. Or nature. Whatever it is, allow yourself to feel the feeling of appreciation in your heart. Notice how that feeling grows. It grows and fills our hearts. It overflows from the hearts and fills our whole body. And from the body, the feeling of appreciation moves out into the world, connecting with everybody at this service, everybody in the room, everybody watching this, everybody else. We're connected in a web of love and appreciation in this moment, this timeless moment. And just for this moment, allow yourself to mentally lean back into that awareness of gratitude, of appreciation, of love, of ease. Feel how it supports you. Feel how we are all connected through it. Notice that there's no difference, no boundary between us and that love, that appreciation, that ease. It interpenetrates every cell, every thought, every feeling. It binds us all together and connects us in a web of love, of life, of friendship, of support. And as we take a deep inhalation, we allow ourselves to exhale. And as we slowly return our attention to the room, we know that this feeling of love, of connection, of ease, of gratitude is always there available for us. It is part of our spiritual identity. It is something we can bring with us or take with us whenever we'd like. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And you can let your hands go if you feel like it. Thank you.
In this world, I walk alone with no place to call my home. But there's one who holds my hand, the rugged road through barren lands. The way is dark, the road is steep, but he's become my eyes to see, the strength to climb, my grief to bear. The Spirit lives inside me there. In your love, I find release, in haven from my unbelief. Take my life and let me be a living prayer, my God, to thee. In these trials of life, I find another voice inside my mind. God, to thee. Take my life and let me be a living prayer, my God, to thee. Take my life and let me be a living prayer, my God, to thee.
It is so nice to have that beautiful music when we come here, and so nice to be here with all you wonderful people, getting to see you here alive in person. Alive. We're all living, and it's also wonderful for our Zoom audience. I love getting to see church from home almost as much as I love getting to come and visit with all my wonderful congregants. Today's sermon, this month's topic is the power of strength. And I'm going to read the metaphysical meaning of strength. Strength is the energy of God, freedom from weakness, stability of character, power to withstand temptation, capacity to accomplish. Strength is physical, mental, and spiritual. All strength originates in spirits, the thought and the world spiritually expressed being the manifestation. The thought and the world that are spiritually expressed are being the manifestation of strength. So, this makes me tired. It sounds like a lot of work. And I have gone, and I think it's because we sort of walk in different worlds. We walk in the world of the physical, we walk in the world of spirit. And to me, strength is taking the world of spirit, out of time, out of space. Spirit is just always there. And moving that into the world of the physical, being able to realize that, to hold on to that, to live that in the world of the physical. And so then what strength looks like to me then is I think about, what is my spiritual self like? Am I loving? Am I free? Am I kind? Am I compassionate? What are the attributes of my spiritual self? And which of them do I want to exhibit and make a part of me in the physical world? Our default mode network brings us sort of automatically into victim-victor, fight or flight. And so to me, this is the power of strength. It isn't about hanging on for dear life. It's about relaxing into our true selves, allowing ourselves to know the truth of who we are in this moment. I'm going to tell 3 stories, or stories about 3 people, about strength. The one that's the center of is Maya Angelou. And this book has lots of purposes. Maya Angelou was born in 1928 and lived until 2014. She gave the inaugural poem for Barack Obama, which was the first time in 48 years that there had been a poet at the inauguration. And her poem was so powerful, her message was so powerful, that there's been a poet at every inauguration since. So she got us going there. She's most known for her autobiography and poem, Why the Caged Bird Sings. And I'm going to bring that into our first story, which is a story of Deborah. So Deborah, the meaning of Deborah, it's an ancient Hebrew word, and it means bee. And what do we know about bees? Well, busy as a bee. Bees are diligent. They keep to it. Why are they always looking for nectar? Why are they always looking for pollen? I think it's because they love it. I think they're expressing their spiritual nature when they're going from flower to flower, collecting all the nectar for the baby bees back at the hive. Bees also are known for stinging if people get in the way of their mission. And this is why we know about Deborah. So 3,000 years ago, the Israelis had moved into the land of Canaan from Egypt. But they hadn't established a kingdom yet. They were living in different tribes, and the tribes were all ruled by judges. And judges, some of the judges were prophets. I'm not sure if all of the judges were. But the only judge we know about who was a woman was Deborah. And it's because she was the right person for the job. At the time Deborah became judge, the Israelis had been harassed, intimidated, persecuted, left unfree by their neighbors, the Canaanites. And you think, well, why don't they fight back? Well, they tried, but they had inferior military technology. Their soldiers were armed with short swords, and the Canaanites had, led by General Sisera, had war chariots. They had 900 war chariots. And so whenever there was an Israeli rebellion, they could just sweep in with these war chariots with iron-coated and just knock out the competition. They could move faster on the battlefield, off the battlefield. The Israelis really were overmatched by this. And so they put up with being imprisoned, with being abused by the Canaanites. I'm going to read a couple of verses of Why Does the Caged Bird Sing? A caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. Their shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. Their wings are clipped and feet are tied as they open their voice to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. And the tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. And this is what Deborah wanted, was freedom. And Deborah was a prophet as well. And God told Deborah how she could get freedom. And it involved having a battle with Sisera and the chariots. And her general, Barak, was a very good general, and he said, oh no, I've read this book. I don't like how this ends. And she says, you have to trust me. And he said, I trust you, but I don't trust myself. I will only go into battle against the war chariots if you come with me. And this is Deborah's strength. Deborah was willing to come with them. Deborah went to battle. This was unusual for women to go to battle, but it was also unusual for women to be prophets or judges. So Deborah was unusual in this. And I think it's because she exemplified the power of strength. She felt that freedom. She was the caged bird singing, and she could feel the singing. It was natural for her to want to do this. Now, what does this have to do with us? 3,000 years ago, some battle. Metaphysically speaking, the cry for freedom is our spiritual selves. And what's imprisoning us is the thought that we are just a physical body, we are just a presence in the world, and that the spiritual self is not as real, is not as much a part of us as this body, as this physicality. General Barak represents the enlightened intellect. He knows that we can't conquer these fears, these limitations, but he's willing to give spirit a chance. General Sisera and the Canaanites with their war chariots represent, the limitations. And Deborah says, I'll come with you, but then you won't get credit for winning. I'll take the credit. And Barak is like, I'm good with that. And I think this is how the enlightened intellect really best responds. Let's go with spirit. We don't need to take credit. We know spirit's doing the work, and we're along for the ride. We're willing to go with it. And this is where the strength comes, in having faith in spirit and knowing that it'll work. So 3,000 years ago, what happened was General Barak got a bunch of soldiers from most of the tribes. They went to Mount Tabor and stood in the woods. And being on a mountain and being in the woods kept them safe temporarily from being swept away by the chariots. The 900 war chariots came and settled on a plain at the bottom of the mountain. And then the heavens opened. No, God didn't open the skies and throw the war chariots out, but what happened was it started raining. There was a downpour. It was a downpour so hard that the river overflowed its banks and flooded the plain that the chariots were on. And then the chariots were stuck in the mud. And suddenly, the secret weapon was an albatross around their neck. The Israeli soldiers ran out with their short swords, and the war chariot people abandoned their chariots and ran away. And after that battle, there was peace for 40 years. The Israelis had freedom. They could be themselves. They could travel the roads free of abuse. Their children couldn't be stolen from them. Their land couldn't be stolen from them. They were free. And this is because Deborah brought them there. And the same is true with us. As we recognize the truth of our identity in spirit, we're always free. If we feel unfree, we can just take a moment to center back in spirit. So that's Deborah. Maya Angelou, when she was 3 years old, moved to Stamps, Arkansas. She and her brother Bailey were the well-loved children of their family, but mom and dad split up when they were very young, and they got to live at grandma's house in Arkansas. Maya Angelou's original name was Marguerite, but her little brother, who was 4 at the time, said, Maya's sister. This is Maya's sister. This is Maya. And she liked that better. So we only know her as Maya, named by her big brother rather than her parents. So she also came from a space of feeling less than free. When she was 8 years old, she was attacked by a family friend, and she stopped talking. She stopped talking for many years. But a school teacher, Barbara Flowers, worked with her after school and gave her books to read. Great literature and poetry, Shakespeare, Dickens, wonderful poetry. And she said, you don't have to come up with your own words. You can read these words. And before very long, Maya was talking again. She learned to talk from falling in love with these great words. Her mother was a singer, dancer, performer, and Maya actually ended up moving to the West Coast, where she studied performing arts. One of the things, though, often when you're beginning in performing arts, you don't get paid a whole lot, not enough to make the rent. So she needed a day job. And she loved the cable cars. She saw the cable cars in San Francisco, and she said, that's what I want to do. I want to be a cable car conductor. But at the time, this was 1945, they didn't have any black or women cable car conductors. But she'd go down to the office of the company running the cable cars, and she'd sit there every morning. She'd say, I'd like to be a cable car conductor. And the administrator would say, well, the person who's hiring isn't here. And she'd sit there. And she did that every day for months. Months. She was there right at the beginning. Maya Angelou famously said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So how did Maya make the people at the cable car company feel? They felt like she belonged. They felt like she was reliable. They felt like she would do a good job. They felt like they got to know her, like she was an old friend. And after months, she became the first black woman cable car conductor in San Francisco. And she had that job for several years until she became so popular as a singer and actress. She ended up moving to LA, where she was a screenwriter and performer. And then she starred in Broadway in Porgy and Bess for several years, and a bunch of other shows. She wrote over a dozen plays. She directed plays. She produced plays. And of course, this was in the 50s and 60s when the civil rights movement was big. And because she was a performer and because she was who she was, she knew Malcolm X, she knew Martin Luther King Jr., she knew Jesse Jackson, all of those guys. She wrote a cabaret for civil rights, which was sold out on Broadway for months and months and months and raised a lot of money for civil rights. So at some point with all this success, a publisher really wanted her to write her autobiography. And she said, I can't do that. And he actually pestered her for years, until one day he said, you know what? I think you're right. You can write plays, you can write newspaper articles, you can write screenplays, but really you're not able to write an autobiography. And you can guess what happened. She dropped everything else she was doing and worked on nothing for the next 2 months except Why the Caged Bird Sings, her most famous work. She became a college professor, and at some point she said, I used to think that I was a writer who could sing, who could teach, but really I find now I'm a teacher who also can write. And she was the biggest spiritual influence and mentor for Oprah Winfrey, our third person we're going to talk about. But the last thing she said before we move on to Oprah is, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. And this is something that exemplifies Maya Angelou's life. From when she was a Broadway performer to when she was a journalist, when she was living in Africa, when she was living all over the country, she always loved what she was doing, how she was doing it, and who she was. And she encourages us all to do that. And I think this is where this leans into the power of strength, with strength as being recognizing our spiritual self, recognizing that part of us that's kind, that's loving, that's compassionate, that's free. When we bring this forward, we can't help but like ourselves. In fact, if we find ourselves not liking ourselves, then we know we've moved out of our spiritual self into our default mode network, into our victim consciousness. And so it's a signal to us to move back. So it's actually, when I find myself feeling bad, even though my first thought is annoyance, my second thought is gratitude, because it's telling me there's an action I can take. You know, I forgot who I am, and I can return to myself. Oprah Winfrey is best known for her live your best life. She has a real rags to riches story. She grew up in Alabama on a farm where they didn't have running water. They would send her out to the well in the backyard to carry back buckets of water for whatever they needed water for. But she was extraordinary, even from a young age. When she was 3 years old, she would proclaim the gospel at church. And her favorite Bible verse is, "Delight thyself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart." Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And this is what we're saying about strength. The desire of your heart is for you to be happy. It's for you to live in the world, in a loving world, in a world of abundance, in a world of ease and joy. And it's the delight is the sign that this is happening. Oprah, as a little girl, used to give sermons to the cattle because she liked practicing. She liked proclaiming her mission. When she was in high school, she became student body vice president, not only because she was such a wonderful orator, but because she loved listening to people and finding out what they really wanted. She promised them better meals. She promised them more independence at their study breaks. She'd find out what people needed and then negotiate for them. When she was still a teenager, she got a college scholarship, although she dropped out one course shy of graduating because she got a job working for a news station, television station in Baltimore. She was the first black woman anchor of a news program in Baltimore, which is a top 10 city. And she was doing very well, but it wasn't expressing all of who she was. She found herself, when she went to a news story and people had lost their house, she gave them blankets because she needed to help them. She couldn't just report on the news. So they gave her a talk show, and the talk show she could interact with people and find out ways that she could help people as well as holding forth. In 1994, she was very successful as a talk show host, but in 1994 she changed her talk show to be more spiritual, to talk about our spiritual selves, to bring people to the nature of their spirits. And this is where Maya Angelou came in handy. Maya Angelou was a guest on her show many times. Maya Angelou mentored her. She was always quoting Maya. Oprah, of course, is a billionaire many times over and has donated hundreds of millions of dollars to charity. She communicates and connects. Oh, they found that how many people have ever watched Oprah video or anything? Oh, good. Okay, then you'll probably not be surprised by this. They did studies of people who would watch an Oprah video or watch a nature documentary or watch a comedy show. And then afterwards, they test them on how they felt. And they felt happier. They were more generous. They were more willing to volunteer after watching an Oprah segment. They were more their true selves after watching an Oprah segment than any of these other inspirational or joyful segments. And so I think this is our true selves. We can lean into our nature of compassion, of generosity. Like Deborah, if we find ourselves lacking freedom, we can lean into our freedom and bring our spiritual self forward. Like Maya Angelou, If we hear the caged bird sing, we can free it. The caged bird is within us. And like Oprah always asks us, we can live our best lives. Our best lives is the life of being your real self, being your true self, loving yourself, loving who you are, loving what you do, and loving how you do it. So thank you.
Having a theme every month, don't you? Keeps us on track. Well, we're going to sing together again, that same songbook, Melodies from the Heart. Savannah's going to lead us in song number 42, so stand up and stretch a little if you like, and let's sing together.
I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 I feel the love 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 moving in me. I feel compassion 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 moving in me. Spirit, I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 Oh yeah.
Well, now it's time to bless our offering and thank our Creator for the many blessings that we've been given and affirm our gratitude. So let's start by affirming the truth about ourselves. It goes like this. My name is, and you use your name, and I am prosperous, always and in all ways. So let's say that together. My name is, and I am prosperous, always and in all ways. Remember, always meaning forever and ever, and always as in all forms. So let's take that feeling of gratitude and prosperity and strength and thankfulness and bless our offering. I'd like to remind you, you can hold this next to your heart, literally or figuratively, and as the basket comes around, feel free to just pass it along and put your hand over it. If you have nothing to drop into the basket, just send it on its way with a loving message, and we'll bless this offering together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I share, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Amen.
Some days when I wake up, I look life in the eye. Some days for no reason, terrified, but I feel you there beside me, and I know I can go on. Your love makes me strong. When I'm in the dark, you are the dawn. When I'm losing heart and hope is gone, your love makes me strong. When I feel the world has come apart and life is trying hard to make me wrong, your love makes me strong. When I need to face my demons and vanquish them at last, pour out all my feelings and lose the past. When I need to end the suffering that I've clung to for so long, your love makes me strong. 'Cause when I'm in the dark, you are the dawn. When I'm losing heart and hope is gone, your love makes me strong. When I feel the world has come apart and life is trying hard to make me wrong, your love makes me strong. 'Cause when I'm in the dark, you are the dawn. When I'm losing heart and hope is gone, your love makes me strong. You give me the power and the faith. You show me the way to carry on. Your love makes me strong. Your love makes me strong.
Thank you. It's always wonderful to hear your voice and hear your music. Love it. Oh, so let's come together now in thanksgiving and know that all of the offerings that come forth are truly blessed, and that we remember that all we give, where we are spiritually fed, is always multiplied back to us. Because that's just the way Spirit works, and I really appreciate that. So I am so very thankful to be here in this loving community and to be surrounded by people who truly love to share of their time, talent, and treasure. And so I release this prayer knowing that this is truly so, and so it is. Amen.
Well, as we finish up this morning, I'd like to thank all of you for coming and joining us again this Sunday. Our chaplain Candy will be available after the service to have a moment of prayer with you. If you'd like to come forward, she'd be happy to pray with you, as our chaplains do provide prayer support throughout the week as well. Come downstairs and join us for social hour if you have a few minutes. And on your way out, if you haven't yet grabbed one of the Lent books, help yourself to one of those. There's a little donation basket. You can pop in a donation for that if you like. Lent starts on February 22nd, so you'll be behind if you don't get your booklet today. So let's circle around the room now. You can join hands or create a little bit of space, whatever makes you most comfortable. We'll say our prayer of protection and sing our peace song. I think we've got enough to stretch out a little bit. Oh, if the people at home could see this. All right, well, I guess you're all going to hold hands. That's the plan. Ta-da! Yay. All right, our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.